I want to say right up front, the Joe Rogan show isn't over. In fact, it's most likely still the #1 show in the world. I'm just afraid the Joe Rogan Experience will soon become the Spotify Experience. Has anyone else stopped watching his show ever since he moved over to Spotify? I know I can't be the only one. I will be honest with you though, I'm not exactly sure why I'm making the video. I guess I just want to give my thoughts on a show that I know I have loved for so long. Now, I'm sure I will sound like one of those fans who get upset whenever things change, but what can I say? His show does feel different. It feels like it's missing something, but maybe that's just me. Now, for those of you that don't know, I have been a fan of the Joe Rogan Experience for nearly a decade. I started watching his show when he was still recording episodes out of his house and out of the back of the ice house with Brian Redban. I have seen his show go through a lot of changes over the years, but I think we are finally witnessing the end of an era. I have to say it, I do miss the old days of JRE. I actually made a video about this around 4 months ago, right before Joe Rogan left Los Angeles. In that video, I went over some of my concerns about the direction his show was heading in. I hate to say it, but it looks like I was right. At least as of right now, but who knows, maybe things will change right after I upload the video. First, I just want to say, I don't blame Joe for leaving Los Angeles or even making the deal on Spotify. If they were offering me over $100 million, I most likely would have done the exact same thing. However, I almost guarantee Joe won't accept another offer like this again. I would even go as far as to say, Joe might end up regretting this deal long before he sees it through. He has to be aware of the effect this is having on his audience. I think it all started when Joe moved into his new studio. All you have to do is go through the comment sections on Joe's videos and you can see what the fans think about his show these days. I'll be honest with you, I don't like his new studio either, but it doesn't bother me that much. I never watch his show to see what's happening in the background. In fact, I loved his first episodes when Redban had bubbles and snowflakes on the screen. That didn't matter to me. I was always there for the conversation, but now that is even starting to change. One of my favorite things about the Joe Rogan Experience was the fact that he would always have his friends on the show. Now, don't get me wrong, I love when Joe has on guys like Elon Musk, Graham Hancock, and even Alex Jones. I like when he has on a very interesting or even a controversial guest. But my favorite episodes are when Joe has his friends on the show. These are the conversations that feel the most natural, because he's speaking to guys he knows and loves the most. I think it's the main reason why so many fans fell in love with the show. It almost felt as if you were a fly on the wall, listening to a conversation amongst your own friends. Ever since Joe went to Texas, he hasn't had any of his best friends on the show. I know he did recently have on Bill Burr, but I'm referring to his very close friends like Joey Diaz, Eddie Bravo, Brian Callen, Bert Kreischer, Segura, and so many more. Now, I know the lockdown has had a major effect on who Joe has on the show, but I feel like they could still get this done one way or another. Like I said in my video 4 months ago, I'm afraid we have seen the end of an era. Not only has the Joe Rogan Experience been affected, but so have most of the shows by his friends. Most of them don't even live in the same state anymore. Joey Diaz ended the Church of What's Happening Now, and he moved back to his home state of New Jersey. Now, unless they record an episode over Skype, I don't think we will see Joey Diaz on Joe Rogan's show anytime soon. I mean, let's face it, Joey Diaz would not even drive across Los Angeles to go on another show, so how likely is it that he will fly across the United States to do a show? Joe Rogan's other best friend, Brian Callen, no longer does his own show, The Fighter and the Kid. I know he does have a new show about conspiracy theories, but I have no interest in watching that show. If I want to see anyone talk about conspiracy theories, it would have to be a show hosted by the lovable and crazy Eddie Bravo. As of right now, Brian Callen is blacklisted in the media. If he can't even go on his own show anymore, then what are the chances Joe will have him on his show? As far as I know, Joe Rogan hasn't even mentioned Brian Callen's name in months. Honestly, maybe Joe did say something about it and I just missed it, but I feel like he has stayed silent about Brian Callen's accusations. Speaking of Eddie Bravo, I don't know when Joe will have him on again either. It was becoming very obvious Joe Rogan was getting sick of Eddie's rants on the show. Now that they're living in different states, I would be surprised if we see him on the Joe Rogan Experience more than once a year. And I already know some JRE fans don't like Eddie Bravo, but I do. Now, I don't agree with all his wacky theories, but I enjoy hearing them and hearing Joe debate him whenever he was on. By the way, that's another thing that has changed about Joe. He used to believe all the same conspiracies Eddie does. I think that's one of the reasons he and Eddie became friends. They both shared a love for martial arts and conspiracy theories. Whenever Joe had him on the show, they would go deep down the rabbit hole for hours and hours. But now Joe argues against everything that he once believed himself. You can even tell that sometimes Eddie feels somewhat betrayed by this. But I really don't want to go down that road either. At least not right now. Chris D'Elia is another one who fell off the face of the flat earth. Now, I wouldn't say him and Joe Rogan were great friends anyway, but he would go on his show every now and then. And he would go on The Fighter and the Kid very often. But him and Bryan Callen are now in the same boat. It doesn't seem like anyone wants anything to do with them anymore. But I will say it again, who really knows? As soon as I upload this video, someone will most likely go on someone else's show and make me look stupid. I know Joe Rogan did recently go on Ari Shaffir's show, but how often does that happen? Once every 5 years? Either way, the days of old are now gone. Now that most of them have left LA, we won't be seeing them hanging out with each other like we used to. The Joe Rogan Experience has been sucked into a black hole. You can't even go back and watch any of the old episodes on this website anymore either. If you go to Joe Rogan's channel, you will most likely see that all of his old episodes have been taken down. The only thing that gets uploaded here on YouTube now are the short clips from the episodes that are uploaded exclusively to Spotify. Now what's funny is, Joe keeps trying to get everyone to go over to Spotify by saying it's free. But guess what, Joe? Your show was always free, so it's not like that's some big incentive to download Spotify. And this leads me to the next reason why I think Joe will end up regretting his deal with the company. I think Joe's numbers have been down. Way down. As I said before, all you have to do to get a feel for Joe's audience is go look at the comments under his videos. I know I'm not the only one who hasn't been watching his show on Spotify. Now, unless he has on one of his old friends or a very interesting guest, I really don't see myself downloading the app to watch his show anymore. In my opinion, one of the worst things about this is the fact that it goes against a lot of what Joe used to stand for. All you have to do is go back and watch any of Joe's old episodes, especially when he had on any of the guys from Opie and Anthony. He would always talk about how great it was to run your own show, because you could say whatever you want without having to face any real backlash, but even that has changed now. I'm sure some of you saw the headlines. Spotify actually wanted to edit some of the things Joe was saying. Some of their other employees were even willing to go on strike, because they didn't want Joe to be able to get away with saying whatever he wanted. Not only that, but Joe has even started to issue apologies for things he said. And we all know this is only because of his deal on Spotify.
Hello, everybody. I need to make an apology and a retraction. I said something on the podcast with Douglas Murray about people getting arrested for lighting fires.
He never would have done this if he were still on his own. Even one of his best friends, Joey Diaz, said he felt sorry for Joe for having to issue that apology. He said, "Things were good when we were in the basement, but once you take that Spotify money, you basically have to act like you care about others' feelings." Now, I won't say exactly what Uncle Joey said, but let's just say he was disappointed in Joe.
Poor Joe Rogan. He put the apology up. They would tell him, go. That's hard for my dog.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to him. He had to put an apology up. Things look good in the basement, dog. Once you take that Spotify money, you got to start apologizing.
He knows the old days are over. Even Sober October has unfortunately come to an end. What else can I really say that hasn't been said already? I will say this again though. I don't blame Joe for taking the money. This has allowed him to set up his family for generations. However, now that he's got the big check, I don't think we will see him do another deal like this again. He was already making great money from the show, so he doesn't really need the money. I would almost guarantee that Joe would rather have his entire audience back again than another full check in the future. What do I know though? I can't say what I would do if I were in the same situation. It's easy for me to say all this because I'm not the one being offered that kind of money. Hopefully, one day Joe is able to have on some of his old friends again. It would be nice to see them all in the same room together. For now, I guess I will just keep watching some of my other favorite shows, like Burr and Kreischer's show, and Segura and Kreischer's show. Now, there are about 100 other shows that I watch, but I don't want to sit here and name every single one. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on all of this. I know some of you are fans of these shows as well, so I would like to see what you have to say. As always, I want to thank everyone for watching the video. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.